in Russian. I was amazed when I came there how strong Yiddish was there. I mean, um, I'm talking of the, if you like, the practical presence of the language, not about the attitude to the language. Everyone who was over 40 or 50 was fluent in Yiddish. It turns out that people, even they spoke Russian outside, they maintained the Yiddish at home or speaking to the grandparents or things like that. And many people would boast, you know, I grew up in Moscow, my grandmother used to, take care of us when parents were in work. Hence, my Yiddish, and we spoke in Yiddish, not in Russian. Now, this was one thing. The other thing in the Soviet Union was that Yiddish was identified with the Soviet regime, of the Bolshevik regime, which was not so popular, to put it mildly, at least in the last years of communism in Russia. So, surprisingly enough, these two attitudes contradicted each other up to the point that people would say, okay, it's fine that we speak Yiddish, but we don't want to revive the language. This is the language of the regime, the language of the communists, okay? Hence, the alternative was, of course, the revival of Hebrew, which we took care of it. But in our program in Moscow, there were Hebrew classes and Yiddish classes. However, when Hebrew classes were packed with students, Yiddish was not so attractive. This is one thing. The other thing is people began to pop up after the fall of communism who were still active in writing poetry and prose in Yiddish. I went to Minsk. It was 14 years ago. Minsk is the capital city of Belarus. It's a big city, but as we say in Yiddish, Ergetz Aloch. It's like a big provincial, actually huge provincial town. And I met there people who were writing poetry in Yiddish, who were in the 50s. These were post-World War II people, okay? And the poetry was, well, it was not so great, but the fact that they were able to write poetry in the language means that they mastered the language. Also in Odessa, the same, far away, southern Ukraine, I bumped into people who were writing poetry in Yiddish. And they were so happy that someone could read it and to say something about this. And the language, by the way, in the Odessa case, the language was half Yiddish, half Ukrainian. This was very interesting. So I don't see much future for Yiddish in Eastern Europe because of those reasons, and I don't see any future for Yiddish in any place other than Israel, surprisingly enough.